For August the 16th, 2024, we talk about CYGNI, All Guns Blazing, Roguelite Deck Builder, Legendary Tales, and much more. Welcome to Level 512. My name is Kole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
And I'm Ben Merkel.
And you are listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. We are rocking it 3-style this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume that you guys as well, when it's 3-style, you come with style, you dress up, right? Y'all are in tuxes right now?
I only recently stopped wearing just black t-shirts. I now will occasionally wear like a gray one or a green or a red. They're still the same kind of t-shirt. It's still the American Apparel, etc. No, I don't dress any differently when it's 3-style. No additional style present.
Damn. Ben, I assume this is a black tie affair for you then.
Well, that's a good segue. Today is not a black tie affair, but something I'm doing this week is a black tie affair.
Ooh, okay.
And that is, I am officiating a wedding for the first time ever this week.
Nice.
Hey, very cool.
Yeah, it's one of my old coworkers. They're getting married here and in another country, and they wanted something a little bit better than a courthouse wedding. So we're going out to a mountain in Washington and getting married. So. So I have to speak in front of 10 people, which should be fine.
You won't be getting married.
I will not.
You're clear on how all this works. I just want to make sure you've done your research.
See, I was thinking of doing a little bait and switch and changing the ceremony up.
Just
Everybody
commandeering
shut your eyes, and we'll put the ring on random fingers.
Let's make this interesting.
You can't whip up the veil to reveal it's a different person because we're not planning on using a veil. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So it's 10 people that you know, or is it?
I know the bride and groom and maybe 2 other people out of that. So yeah, I know some people, but not all.
I mean, that's getting married to 6 strangers. I don't feel like this is a wise life choice. Maybe I'm not clear on how all this works.
You are currently married. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes.
But I didn't have to do anything. I just showed up.
Yeah.
We were married, right?
A marriage just happened to you. Yeah.
There was a marriaging.
Yeah. So what's your what's your strategy going to be? This is going to come out after the wedding. So are you going are you going like jokey? Are you going
no. Okay. Well, I don't know. No, I think the pressure is low since it's not too many people. I already got a suit ready, so that part's good. I'm going to read out of a book, so I just need to transcribe the speech, but the speech has already been kind of like picked. I gave options for like all the different stages to bride and groom and ask like what they want, and they just like bolded whichever choices they had for that. So I just have to put that all together and then rehearse it myself, and then it should be good. Sweet. But yeah, I think it's low key, so it should be a good first one to do.
Yeah. I'm always the person who is brought to the wedding to do a reading. Mm-hmm. Like that has been my role. Like, of my friends, Dennis, you're the only person who put me like in the, what is it, the groomsmen?
The bridal party.
Yeah, the bridal. I wasn't sure if the bridal party was just like the maids of honor or whatever.
We've established I'm the wrong person to ask about the technicalities, despite my experience.
Every other friend's wedding that I've done, it has been, do you want to get up and do a reading? Which is nice, but it's also
you got a gift. Yeah. It's your literal job.
It is my literal job. Yeah.
There's only so many ways you can do love is patient, love is kind.
Yeah.
I don't want to slam poetry that too hard.
Fortunately, I've never been brought up to read that particular one, because that's so it's a little cliche, isn't it?
Just a titch.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I had the pleasure of officiating a wedding for some friends a while back, and the pressure from in-laws to like mention specific dead relatives was the biggest like X factor I did not expect. We're like 3 minutes before start, and Aunt Jemima from, the third cousin's fourth, whatever.
I hear she was real sweet.
Yeah. But, make sure you mention Grandma Ethel in the part about, people no longer with us. I had a list of people to mention from the bride and groom. So it was like, oh, great idea, because it's on the list already. But you could feel like a palpable tension release when I said like, oh, people no longer with us, like so-and-so and so-and-so and Grandma Ethel. And he just, okay, we're good. We can go. We're just good. Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
The right person got mentioned.
Yeah. When I'm at a wedding, all I'm waiting to hear is we took pictures before the ceremony.
God, yes.
Oh,
smart.
man.
I feel like people are getting smart about it. Like I got married right before everyone had an Instagram hashtag and the knot was a huge thing and all that stuff.
The knot.
And so I feel like we were just kind of freestyling it. Oh yeah, the knot is like
it's like
GitHub.
automated weddings.
The knot is to engage people, like GitHub is to programmers.
Okay. All right. So it's Notion for nuptials.
Yeah. That's a nice early title right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't have to write down the rest of the show. It's great.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was the if I can warn you, Ben, that's beware of that piece.
Mention all the dead people someone tells you to mention. Got it.
All of them? There's like billions. Okay, I'll
Just
try.
that people tell me to. Just that people tell me to.
I mean, do I add the people who died during the recitation?
Oh no! You couldn't keep up.
No.
Wow.
That's a
why
Borges
marriage
short story. Yeah.
Yeah. This is why marriage is on decline, is no one has time to get through the list of dead people anymore.
Yeah. Well, I hope that goes good.
Yeah,
that goes
likewise.
well. Yeah. Dennis, how about you?
I'm doing well. Tomorrow is the first day of school, and the first day of school for all my kiddos for the first time. So that is extremely exciting. My youngest, Barrett, starts kindergarten, and is or not kindergarten, excuse me, preschool. Damn, he'd be a genius if he was in kindergarten. But the preschool is like just around the corner from us. It's bike riding distance. And so we did a little, like practice run through, let's go. He wanted to do a bike ride. I'm like, I know exactly where to go. There's a playground near it and everything. So, we ride out there, and kind of the drop off point is on the far side of the building. We're kind of getting to the near side of the building. And it's like, oh, this is it. This is my preschool. Do I go in here? And I said, no. I think we'll drop you off when it's time on over there. And he gives me this look like, you dumb. He goes, Daddy, you're not dropping me off. I said,
wait a minute.
And he's like, you're staying with me, Daddy.
Uh-oh.
And my heart drops into my stomach. It's like, oh, we need to do some expectation management.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I think you're going to be with your teachers and your friends, and I'll be nearby. And he looks around and he's like, yeah, well, there's a bench. You can sit on the bench.
Yeah. You can wait
like,
there.
I will be nearby.
Yeah. Oh, no.
So, yeah, I think maybe he got it. Maybe he didn't. We will find out.
Yeah.
So that is that it will be interesting. I guess better to find that out on the trial run than on the actual drop off. So that's nice. Yeah, but otherwise the snacks are packed. The teachers are met. And the kids are in bed nice and early, so we are ready to go, ready to launch this sucker.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, and so like they're excited to be back, because like I think about myself, back, like every even when I was incredibly young, like. It was nothing but anxiety. I did not want to go back. It was I almost hated school getting out because I knew that I would have to come back. Was the thing, right?
Well, nothing hurts worse than if you've had your hand on the stove, take it off, and now need to put it back on.
Right. So, like, you guys saw me when I came to college for the first time. It was basically that every single year. how much just anxiety like physically manifested it was. So it's always a little bit alien to me to hear like kids say like, oh yeah, I get to see my friends again.
Yeah, there's excitement on that front. I think there is very much a mourning of summer going on in our house.
Yeah.
Lamenting that it went by so fast, or we just started, or what have you. We at the beginning of summer, I had them just for fun. I was like, what would be your perfect day of summer? And they listed out all this stuff, pancakes for breakfast and video games before we do chores and all this stuff. They didn't think to like not have to do chores. They just wanted to play video games before chores. So like, oh, that's nice. Okay. My kids aren't that smart yet. But so yesterday,
not conniving yet.
Exactly. Yes. They're still very much on the page. But yesterday I think they had completely forgotten about it. But I got out the list and I read them the list. I was like, all right, this is the day. And so we did all that stuff. So Cece's Pizza was consumed for lunch.
I'm sorry.
Unholy.
No, I was just expressing condolences for eating CC's.
Oh yeah,
that was the chore part.
I thought that was an offended. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Didn't know you were into child abuse. And yeah, so they had a wonderful day. We did some swimming today at the pool. That was fun. But tomorrow, all hope is lost. Summer is over, and school has begun, etc.
What grades are they starting, Luke and Milo?
Yeah, Luke's going into 4th, and Milo is going into 3rd. So they're just one grade apart in school. And I think we did the math just because of the way our kids are spaced out. We will have a child in the elementary school around the corner for us for, I think, a decade straight.
Oh,
something like that. Yeah, it's we got a nice little combo going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a transition. It'll come with more free time for me. So if I sound less flustered in the coming weeks, you'll know exactly why.
I was going to ask like how you were going to deal with the house being kind of lonely.
Yeah, it'll be super weird. I have never had trouble like just being in my own head. Like that's my happy place. So. I'm sure I won't go stir crazy or anything. But yeah, not having constant shouting and requests will be weird. At least, well, it's preschool. It's like 3 hours on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So,
right. Right.
Yeah. We'll still get some of the old old school flavor in there.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. That's me.
Cool. I don't have an awful lot. Nothing too crazy going on here, which I feel like I say every week, but yeah, just hanging out.
How are the cats?
Cats are good. I got a new. I feel kind of sad talking about. You talked about sending your kids to school, and now I'm talking about the toy that I got when I went to PetSmart to get food because Amazon stopped shipping the food that they need to eat. Yeah, no, I got a little.
Hey, fur babies are fun.
They are fun. It's been a while since I got them a new toy, so I looked in the aisle there, and I got one that it's like a little fishing reel that you can like cast like you're casting to fish, and on the end of it there's like a little fish that has catnip in it. And there's like a bobber that is a blinking LED light. Greta loves the shit out of this thing. Dottie runs anytime she sees it because she is an incredibly anxious and skittish cat. She is always acting like she's in trouble. But
I'm trying to think of a weed rave, and that's like what's going on with the cat.
Oh yeah. No, so they're enjoying that. Yeah, no, I just like not an awful lot happening that is not games over the past couple of weeks here, which can be fine. That's just the way it goes.
Content, baby.
Content. The beast must be fed, and feed it we will by having a regular kind of show. What with the grind, the multiplayer, and the end boss. And why don't we get started with
the grind?
The Grind, where we talk about the games we have been playing over the last period of time or so. I have one. that is relatively new, so I'm going to lead with this. I have played a roguelite deck builder called Roguelite Deck Builder.
But what kind of game is it?
It's a roguelike. It's roguelite, and you're building a deck. Is what it is. No, this is a joke game, which is literally how literal can we take the genre name of roguelite deck builder. So it's a goofy little game. You buy it for like $2 on itch.io. Have either of you heard about this?
I have not.
No.
Okay. The premise is that you are trapped in this kind of purgatorial cycle with a demon called Husband who likes decks and wants you to build decks. And the round starts. You've got to go and you're pounding nails. You're securing boards down to the deck by moving a physics modeled hammer up and down in order to pound the nails in. It's 4 nails per plank. You gain a little bit of money for each plank that you successfully nail down. You lose money if you hit your hand. Like there's a little hand that's holding the nail there, so you have to be precise. You gain money by by getting perfect hits, so like the proper strength, proper aim, and all of that. And you nail down every single board along this deck, and then you go inside and you buy upgrades for all of the stuff, and you've got to build another deck with your better tools to make more money to eventually buy your key to freedom from this realm that you are stuck in.
Oh my god!
Tell
me about the roguelite.
So the roguelite, yes, it is run based. It's but the model is more of a you're starting over from zero, but it's more like a management game kind of thing where or survival game kind of deal where you're earning money to get upgrades to earn more money to etc. The roguelite is literally the light that is on the deck that you're out there at night or whatever it is in this realm that you're in, and in order to see, the light needs to be on, but the light's kind of on the fritz. So it'll occasionally blink on and off at very inopportune times. So it is a roguelite insofar as it is not behaving in a way that you would want a light to in this particular situation.
I just want to call out that the game describes itself as a board game, like a wooden board game.
Yeah, that works. This looks like it should be in VR.
It is really VR-y. I don't know that would keep the charm because it is very much just about if you were doing it in VR, there would be too much precision. There's a little bit of like a QWOP kind of angle to this. Or like a little bit of a Benefatti's getting over it kind of deal, where the hammer is very unwieldy to use. It's very unbalanced. It is difficult to get the motion that you need to do with the mouse. Kind of down. Upgrading it does make it more stable and more predictable the way that it's going to move. But by the end, you are pounding stuff out very quickly because you've kind of nailed it. Didn't do that intentionally, but you have
I don't believe that for a second.
You have the motion down by that point. So this is just it's a stupid little trifle. There are cool things that happen with it, as you upgrade the nails. You get there's a possibility for getting I forget what they're called, but it's deviant nails or something like that, and they have slightly different rules to them. So the one that I'll give, because I don't want them to be spoilers, occasionally there will be glass nails where if you hit them too hard, you lose money. But you have to hit them very lightly in order to get perfects. So it changes up the motion that you have to do. There are occasionally money planks where you get there's a countdown from a dollar amount, and you want to nail it down as fast as you can so you get more money at the end of it. Yeah. And
this old house got weird in the later seasons.
It really did. It got very conceptual. And then there are bugs. You can get bonuses for splatting bugs, but the bugs often crawl near your hand, so you have to be even more precise, or you will lose money because you hit your hand and the bugs run away.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's literally just an itch.io joke game is what it is. This person is also making a game called Goblin America. And yeah, they've got
now wait, is this D&D or is it eating?
No, it's like a first person shooter boomer shooter looking thing that appears to be super goofy and aesthetically unpleasant, where you're shooting goblins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a fast modded gun style game set in a low level gunk juiced America is what this is. So this is itch as all hell. As what it is. But
I now want to play Guy Fieri's Goblin America.
Just literally one state at a time. So yeah, this is like weirdly compelling. You are kind of playing with, this is a game that doesn't want to be played and doesn't want to be enjoyed. But I ended up kind of falling into the zone with it. And it's like a, 30, 40 minute kind of experience. Like you go from, making like 10 cents per hit to like, earning $1 million in one run on the deck in order to buy the key to your freedom, So ridiculous numbers going on, in addition to the other ridiculous things that happen that I haven't even laid out.
I'm not going to lie. I pulled up a little, the first video I could find of it after having to Google for like 5 minutes because this name, holy shit. But I found a video and now I don't want to stop it because it's probably 90% of the way done with the deck, and I kind of
want to see how this comes out. The one thing that annoys
mesmerizing.
The one thing that annoys me, and apparently this is a common enough complaint that the developer Gil Lawson has like talked about it, like it's a running joke on their Twitter. But the joists go the wrong way. You are nailing down the boards parallel with the joists. When for stability you want to run across them. It just seems kind of basic to me. So I don't know what they're getting at there, but like they're promising maybe to fix it. But I think it's more just a joke to annoy people specifically like me. So yeah. But yeah, that's the new thing. Roguelite deck builder.
How do you find out about this?
Oh, I saw somebody mention it on Twitter. I think they were talking about like it came out like a little bit earlier this year, but they have it up to wish list on Steam, I think is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. It's fun.
Jesus, man, move your hand further away. There's no option to move your hand further away from the nail?
Nope, you don't control the hand.
I'm getting phantom pain.
Yeah, the hand moves away from it a little bit as you nail it in. But not entirely away. It's always a danger whether you're going to hit it or not.
I lied. This would not be perfect for VR because I would jump so hard.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know. I like this genre of just joke games that people make on itch. I do not want to call this low effort or whatever, because a lot of craft went into this in order to make it as in order to make it as off-putting as it is. But yeah, I will go in for it.
I think this understands the evolving way that people want to play games, right? Like, not every game has to be fleshed out to be a forever game. It's a funny idea that's explored as far as a basically joke idea can be. And then it lets you move on.
Yeah. No, it is perfect as a $2 experience. I like it. Like, in the past, like, mobile games kind of could have been this, like you used to get stuff a little bit like this, but I'm just delighted that itch exists. So there's a place where you can get this. Yeah. The only other thing I did, I only streamed one night this past weekend, and I did Clone Hero with that. Did drums. I did the 80s set list that I had threatened to do last week, and that was fun. Although I did get kind of tired near the end, so got a little bit sloppy.
Any surprise favorite songs?
I don't know about none of it's surprise because I had to practice all of them.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I just people reacted well to the replacement song that I picked to put on there, the cult song and all that. Yeah, that's good stuff. I don't know. I want to do that again.
Where to next thematically?
Oh, I don't know. I'm probably not everyone's going to be a theme one. I was just like, oh, I wonder. It was fun to put together that one. My first little set list there. I was like, I wonder if I could put a constraint on this and find cool stuff. And I did, and I proved that I can. But maybe I'll do just another general one next time. But
yeah, when the spirit moves, there will be another theme.
Yeah. So. But yeah, that's what I've got. Roguelite deck builder and clone hero.
Very cool.
Yeah. Who else has
Good
something?
luck learning any more about that game because it is ungoogleable.
If you do roguelite deck builder and itch, you will get right to it. So, yeah. Who has something new?
I have a couple of new things. Oh, wow.
You got a couple, so you go.
All right.
All right. Was that a you go?
Yeah, that's a you go, Dennis. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So a couple new ones that I've been playing. The first one is a bullet hell game that I found through Epic. So I mentioned that I've been playing a little bit more Fortnite with the kiddos, which means Epic Launcher is up on my computer.
Okay.
A little more often than it used to be, which means I see the free games. And I saw one that perked my attention called CYGNI, with the subtitle All Guns Blazing. It's a top-down bullet hell shooter that apparently just released.
Okay.
And I haven't played a bullet hell shooter in a while and just was kind of in the mood for that.
Yeah.
The game looks beautiful. And in true bullet hell fashion, there's just so much going on the screen. More so than filling the screen with glowing death obstacles, but also the background. And I hesitate to even call it the background, but like the ground that you are flying over. You're in a fighter jet / maybe a spaceship, can't quite tell. But it's called an Orca.
Okay.
And I can't think of a worse name. Maybe Warthog. For a fighter jet.
At least orcas are deadly. I don't know. Maybe Warthog. Okay, for a fighter jet specifically. Yeah, naming it after a sea animal is kind of weird.
Yeah, and killer whale is a little more aggressive than orca, but it also has whale in it, and that's just I don't know. It's the naming. I can't really figure out, but as you're flying, you have obviously just the wild amount of enemies on screen at flight level, and then way down in the background on the ground below you, there are ground-based targets and battles going on and all this stuff. And that's nothing new for these games, even from the 8-bit era. You'd be able to drop bombs on installments on the ground. But how dynamic this is between focusing on the ground and in front of you is really cool. So you can choose to fire either air to air or air to ground, and swap back and forth between those two as you prioritize targets. And the cool thing is that the giant bosses at the end of the stage, or mid bosses and everything, will tend to be machines that rise up from the ground below you. And the whole story that's unfolding is about hey, we inhabited this planet that had all these dead left behind machines that we don't understand, and we kind of got used to harvesting them, and kind of that drove our technology for a while. But now they're waking up and they want to kill us, and they go fight. So these things rise up from the ground, and just because it's so crazy fighting in the air above them, and you basically are flying over these bosses for a good long while before they wake up. You can almost not realize that you've been over this thing for a good long while before it starts getting up below you, or you're seeing it start to move, and as you're fighting in the air, you're starting to assemble in your mind oh God, what is this boss that I'm about to have to fight? As you watch it rise, and so that sense of scale and not cinematicness, but just spectacle is really cool for them to be able to accomplish in a bullet hell game.
Mm-hmm.
And when go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And when I say that there are like swarms of enemies coming at you, I literally mean like in the Matrix Revolutions, whichever one was the third one, or maybe it was the second one, the giant robot fighting the swarms of other robots.
You know what I'm talking about? Not the person to ask.
Oh, damn. It's the swarms of robots that go after the actual humans.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. Look up a GIF. I'm sure you'll be able to find it.
Yeah.
But it is just a river of enemies swarming at you. And that all is done as smoothly as it is impressive. And the twist on the bullet hell formula that I found really, really intriguing is, I guess I'm used to when I play a game like that one hit equals death, right?
Yeah.
Like you're weaving around all the things, and like you can take maybe 1 or 2 hits and then your thing explodes. And so you're really focused on weaving through all these balls of death, as much as shooting anything else. Well, here, you are constantly collecting this resource that builds your shields. And you get 5 shield segments. Once your shields are gone, you can take 1 hit, and then the final hit, if you don't recover any shields, you die. So you can tank a lot of damage playing this game, which feels a little odd for bullet hell.
Yeah.
The twist is that you can shift shield over into missiles. At any point. So you have five increments for shield and then 5 increments for missiles. When you pick something up, it goes to shield, and then you just tap a button to shift that over to your missile ammo. And almost to keep up with the flood of enemies, you have to be, constantly firing off salvos of missiles in addition to your regular guns. And so it becomes less about, can I dodge everything and not get hit? And more about like, can diving through this hail of fire net me more shield pickups than I will lose, especially as I'm shifting stuff over to ammo. And because you don't want to waste a resource, like if you go over a resource with full shield, you don't get anything for
it's
it.
Like wasted. Yeah.
And so you're constantly like, hey, I'm going to lower my shield protection right as I dive through all this fire towards more shield pickups. So you're constantly like pushing yourself to that edge of making sure you're topped off on missiles, but also not wanting to die as you go to collect the replenishment of the shields you just shifted over. So that works really, really well as just a constant loop you're going through of my shields are low and I have lots of guns, and then I pick up a bunch of shields, but I'm firing off my guns. I shift those over, and you're constantly kind of getting this subconscious almost track in your head of like where you're at and how aggressive you can be based on how many pickups you see you can get to, and how much shield and ammo you have. So having shields and ammo be a combined resource that you have control over is really, really cool.
Yeah. I'm not particularly well versed in these, but I do not know that I've heard one that explicitly does that. Yeah. Is it interested in onboarding you at all? Like,
no. Especially the upgrade screen is completely, I still don't understand it.
Yeah.
I went to do upgrading, and I think I unlocked a bunch of different configurations for like how my main gun would spray. Spread patterns, I guess. And then I unlocked a bunch, but maybe I didn't equip them, or maybe I equipped just one because I seem to be able to toggle back and forth between like a straight ahead one and a very spread out one.
Yeah.
But also I couldn't figure out what I was doing to toggle between them. It was completely inscrutable.
Yeah.
So this kind of throws you in. I did have to manually turn it down, and this is me saying this, right? So clutch your pearls. I turned it down from medium to easy just because I could not even get through the first level on the difficulty that it started on. And then easy felt like the right experience. And as you upgrade your ship, I think you'll be able to take on those harder difficulties. And it does seem very much built around like, hey, I'm going to do runs and try to get high scores on these levels, etc.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like in a genre this niche, didn't used to be super niche. They used to be in arcades all the time, one of the main kinds of games you see, but like specifically now, you know, how much of a duty does a game in a genre like that have to be somebody's entry point for it? Like there was a WAF we did several years back where we did Ikaruga and Jamestown, and they're completely separate games in terms of their approach to that. Ikaruga has no interest in, you know, giving you any endpoint. Like it is a game that exists. You know, you only like the easy mode for that is other games, basically. Whereas Jamestown, you know, developed more recently and by an independent developer, but like is, you know, explicitly kind of designed with incredibly granular and evolving difficulty to like communicate to somebody what is special about these games to the people who really enjoy them.
Yeah.
Right. I obviously find more value in the latter experience because, you know,
sure, yeah,
I'm just not good at these, haven't played, don't have the history, but like it seems unenviable to be in a position where you are making these kinds of games in a world full of not just games by like Cave or whatever, you know, Death Smiles and all of that, but like, you know, infinite numbers of like Toho fan games where it's like, you know, we have like we had to invent bigger screens so we could fill them with more projectiles for you to dodge. It kind of is what it looks like to me, right?
Yeah, on one hand, like thinking about the user experience is always good, and giving people an on-ramp is always good. Like you said, it would always ask the question of what if this is, you know, someone's first time in the genre. On the other hand, like it's pretty on the page, right? Like that's my little guy. I shoot anything else that moves and don't touch anything that glows. And that is, you know,
figure it out.
That's about all you need to get started.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
CYGNI definitely falls in that category in terms of onboarding. Yeah. Fun little anecdote, because my controller wouldn't register first time I booted this up, and it's not a game that I want to be playing with a mouse and keyboard. That just feels weird. So to get the game to recognize my controller, I had to add the Epic Games launcher to Steam, launch Epic from Steam, and then launch CYGNI from that. And that is what got it to recognize my controller.
I feel like I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Ryzen software engineering.
Absolutely insane. But it works. It works. And and it's a very fun little game.
Huh.
The graphics look good.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's spelled for because I was like, okay, how do I search for that? CYGNI. Yes. Like Cygnus, like the constellation.
Which it's so funny. So I finally, in just the last mission I played, found out CYGNI is the name of the world you're on.
Okay.
That was not apparent from the start. And then that little like blip I gave on the story of these like giant machines that humans came to rely on, but are now waking up and want revenge. That's not explained at all until I'm roughly like a third of the way through the game. So I've been fighting these things, just no context for what's going on. Yeah. So that's an interesting choice to put it that far in.
Also, weirdly published by Konami.
Yeah, go figure.
I saw that.
Weird.
Which is who does Ace Combat?
Oh, that's a Namco thing, I think.
Right. Okay. No, not Konami. So the story interludes are Ace Combat as all get out. Like, you know, still pictures and breathy voice, remembering nostalgia for whatever. Like very, very saccharine storytelling in between missions. And kind of weird juxtaposition for something as frantic as a bullet hell shooter.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I distinctly thought, oh, this is just like Ace Combat watching the story segments.
You know, I was only 55% sure that it was Namco when I said Namco. And I'm really surprised that I was correct.
Okay.
I just double checked. Yeah.
Well, very cool. Yeah, so that's CYGNI, and having a good time with that. It's free on Epic Games, so you have it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're willing to do the jump through the hoops, you can play it.
Yes.
And then the other new thing I've been playing, unless other people have other questions about CYGNI,
No.
is a fan game. This is a fan remake / upgrade of an old Lego game called Rock Raiders. Does anyone remember Rock Raiders Legos?
No, not at all.
Because y'all would have been, you would have had these out around the same time. This is when I was like super into Lego. And before they did everything through licensing, there was a series of sets themed around the Rock Raiders. And this was like space miners. So think like, Deep Rock Galactic style, miners who get their spaceship sucked through a wormhole, wind up in a different galaxy, and they need to like mine all the asteroids and stuff to get the materials to send them back home. It's all Lego people.
I was going to joke that Armageddon Fever had swept the nation, but then I looked and saw that it came out in 1999. This is absolutely them doing an Armageddon tie-in, kind of.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Again, before they licensed stuff.
Yeah.
If it happened today, it would absolutely be Armageddon themed. Mm-hmm. And I just primarily from the nostalgia, one, I was really into the Lego sets. Two, I remember getting this game from the library and loving it. Genre wise, this is a real-time strategy game. Mm-hmm. So you are, selecting your little Lego guy units and directing them around these asteroid caves to dig out rock, assemble buildings, build up a base to get more resources faster, et cetera, build up your stable of mining vehicles to be able to do more and more towards some goal, ostensibly every time. And, it's kind of disappeared, but this is one person. It's their first game that they've made, but have done an amazing job recapturing the magic of the original.
So is it like a full reconstruction that they did independently?
Correct. Yes. And they're, it's got plastered all over. Like, this is a fan game. It's for free. I'm not making any money. Don't sue me, Lego.
Yeah.
But their attempt is kind of the remake philosophy that's prevalent today of this is Rock Raiders the way you remember it.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's called Manic Miners. Sorry, I didn't catch the name. Yeah.
Yes, sorry, I was about to say that. Yeah, if I forgot to say so, this is a remake of Rock Raiders. It's called Manic Miners, and it's just a free download game made by one guy. And he's done an incredible job capturing the feel of the original game. So played a couple missions in that and just immediate. It's like, I remember these characters. I remember these systems. I feel this affection towards it more so than any, ever seeing a Spider-Man or whatever. And it's like, man, Lego used to do cool shit. Like, I want original Lego IPs back. We've been robbed because I don't know if we'll ever see something from Lego that is not filtered through Lego Star Wars or Lego Marvel or Lego Disney generically, Lego Fortnite. It's all one big goopy metaverse. More on that later, by the way. And this is just a breath of fresh air, or a memory of a breath of fresh air, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's a humble bundle right now, like Lego games. I was like, oh, let me check that out, like, because in my head I think Lego building, etc. And it's all the Marvel shit. It's all Marvel and Star Wars and stuff. And it's like,
Lego Harry Potter Part 7.
Yeah. And it's a cliche complaint, but it's like, I don't know, I liked the imagination. I never really had like a big Lego phase outside of like when I was a really little kid. And even then, like, it was just, I don't even know that we had brand name Legos. I think it was just really anonymous, and I just like built castles with them. Yeah.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah.
So this was, I think I played any Lego game I could get my hands on, and pre multiverse and I was about to say Everything Is Awesome, but the pre-Lego movie, all their like in-game cinematics and things, the big deal was like they don't actually talk.
Yeah.
And I think even still in the Lego Star Wars games and stuff like that, like it's all like Simlish kind of communication. But it was crazy just how even just with that in the opening cutscene, it's like, oh, I remember each of these characters, and that's the grizzled captain with the robot arm, and all this stuff. Like it came back. It was sticky in a way that I think people assume can only happen when there's a mega franchise behind it now.
No, there was actually like cooler stuff going on than just the fact that I recognized the thing.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Don't farm that out to an IP. Come give me like really cool, fun, quirky ideas that are content to just live within this game.
Yeah,
like,
and can be,
I don't need this character to show up on my soda can.
Yeah, and can be like really ambitious too. Or like I don't know. I would not think Lego RTS, but there we are.
Yeah, and it works. It works great. Go ahead.
No. It was a different thing. Your one complaint.
Okay. My one complaint is the textures of the time have not been updated, and there is virtually zero difference between solid rock, hard rock, soft rock, and dirt. I think it's called.
Okay.
The levels of terrain, and literally like a swath of terrain is just a textured image of some rocks.
It's just soup.
This over and over and over again. And like, it's just really hard to parse, to where you'll be like, okay, I am out of, a given resource. I need to mine, soft rock to get it.
Give me all the Michael McDonald you have. Sorry.
I was wondering how long you could resist.
Sorry. Fuck. Keep going.
I mean, look, if I'm not going to set unless I expect a spike. So
okay.
if you weren't going to do it eventually, then I was going to have to come in and close the deal.
It would be really disappointing.
Yeah. But literally I'm like, scrolling around the edges of the tunnel that I've mined out, just cursoring over each piece of rock, waiting for the tooltip that comes up to say soft rock rather than relying on visuals. And so, for a game that has, and again, it's one guy making this and he's doing an incredible job. So don't read this as a complaint at all. It's just surprising to me that making those textures more distinct was not higher on his list of priorities.
Yeah. I could see it. Like even like in the before and after comparison on their itch page, like the texture in the old one looks more distinct just by virtue of the fact that there's more lighting. Like the lighting is just broadly even across the entire scene, whereas in the new one they're doing stuff with like soft glow, for a lot of it, which I think muddles a lot of it.
Yeah. So just a fun blast from the past for me.
Yeah.
And it's fun to have in my back pocket on my PC to play whenever I'm looking to cool down from the other high intensity stuff I'm doing. Is, I've still got iRacing going. I've still got, dove into Diablo Season 5. I'll talk about that once I've spent more time with it. And all my various vices in this hobby.
Have you thought about showing Manic Miners to your kids and starting the cycle over again?
Oh my God, I should. We did a little bit of Roller Coaster Tycoon a while back, and this feels like it had the same kind of vibe. Yes, she absolutely did.
Is Jenna a Roller Coaster Tycoon head?
Yeah, very much so. I think that and Age of Empires. I never did Age of Empires growing up, but Jen was super into it.
Oh, cool.
So we've got all our bases covered, as you spread around the old timey games.
Nice.
So if I start up a playthrough with my kids, I'll let you know how it goes. Although they're gonna have their hands full with homework, so
what a
sucks for them.
What a wonderful treat to like just find this labor of love that recreates this game that, I don't know, given certain in a given conversation, people might accuse you of making that up. Like that is from an era and on a platform where games just kind of get lost to time. So,
Absolutely.
God bless the weirdos who do shit exactly like this.
Mm-hmm. I was thrilled when it wasn't a virus that tanked my computer. It was like, there's no launcher for this game. It's just a file. You can put that file wherever you want and launch it. And it's like,
risky click of the day.
That's right.
And I slag on the licensed games. So, like, I have a core memory, Ben, of like when we first
Sneak King.
No, not Sneak King, but specifically licensed Legos and Lego games of in the dorm playing the demo of the Lego Star Wars of the original trilogy.
I think so. Yeah,
running around as Chewbacca, just ripping arms off of everybody and laughing our asses off.
Yep, I remember that.
That was fun.
That Halo and Shadow of the Colossus were pretty defining in the first quarter there.
Yeah, RE4. Yeah. Cool. So you had CYGNI and Manic Miners.
That's correct.
Yes.
And all my usual bullshit, but there's nothing mentionable from that.
Ben, how about you?
Yeah, I got one new one. I'll start off and just say I played a skosh more of Hi-Fi Rush. I got past the first level with the Nine Inch Nails song and the boss. Mm-hmm. That was cool. I'm still not I haven't taken the plunge on this game yet, or I'm not like addicted or anything yet. So I'm still trying to give it like a fair shot. So I'm still like, I guess I still want to give it another like level or two before I like decide to keep going or not. But the graphics and presentation are like top notch on this game though. Yeah. Like in the characters and the dialogue and stuff, like all that is like A+. So I do really appreciate that. Nice. Yeah. Otherwise, no notes. The new game that I have this week is a game called Legendary Tales VR, which I came across it because, this is news. I think I posted this in Backstage. I did end up getting the PC adapter. However, I got it for, I think it'll be shipped to me by the end of August because it was like sold out the first day. And so I was getting flashbacks of like PlayStation 5 where you couldn't find it anywhere. And so I joined a Discord server, waited for like a message notification, bought one as soon as I could, like through Best Buy. And so that was like the only option. It was like, I think 2 to 3 week shipping. I haven't gone back and looked, like it could be like completely available now and I have no idea. But anyway, so I'm excited for that. And so I'm excited that I will eventually play Half-Life Alyx by like the end of the month. But in the meantime, like while I was like researching all that stuff, I was looking for other VR games that are out now and came across this one. So it's called Legendary Tales VR. It kind of the sales pitch of it is it's kind of like a Diablo-esque game in a world that's kind of like Dark Souls. And those are high praises to give it. And it is not as good as those games from my first blush. But that's kind of the attempt of what it's trying to capture.
Oh, man. This looks like this is Oblivion jank. Sorry.
Yeah. So basically, it kind of gives you have like 3 different stats that you can boost at the beginning, and it's like strength, dex, or int. And that's basically the 3 different options you can go with. Strength is like shield, sword. Dex is like bow and arrow and like daggers that you can throw. And then int is like you have a magic wand. If you can figure out how to make it work, then that will cast spells. And you have like fire, ice, and lightning for options for those. Mm-hmm. So like a decent job of displaying like the different options to you. One of the low points of this game, it is extremely hard to figure out how to do anything in it at all. Like you basically have to go to YouTube videos to watch like how to do things. And it gives you a lot of cool things to do. Like you can forge your own weapons. And like there's like a what's it called, like a forge that you can like dump metal into. That'll give you like an ingot. You can take it to a anvil and like hammer it into something, and then you can put it in water and all that stuff. So it does give you kind of like in-depth abilities to like make things. But yeah, it does a poor job of telling you anything else unless you want to go through like a codex of like text, or if you want to go through like YouTube videos to watch it. However, once you get a hang of it, I can start to see the appeal of like of why why people kind of praise it as being a decently good game. Like for reference, like on some like meta list of like different VR games, like S tier would be something like the RE4 remake or like Half-Life Alyx and stuff like this. And like this is more on like the A tier is like what people give it, which is like kind of like where Horizon Call of the Mountain is. So like that's kind of why I wanted to take a plunge for it.
Yeah.
But to give you an idea of what the game is, there's a lot of skeletons. There's a lot of like damned villagers, like a la Dark Souls at the beginning. And they're just kind of like wandering around this like spooky castle looking place with a full moon. And you walk around and it's VR like sword fighting essentially. And I'll mostly speak towards that because that's kind of the build that I've gone through with my first run through.
Okay.
And so it's running up to people, either trying to parry with your shield or just like mad slash with your sword. They basically have telegraphed moves. There is a parrying system where if you hit their sword as they're trying to attack, it parries. And then they'll randomly drop items. So sometimes they'll drop items. They're indicated by rarity. Like it'll be like a crystal that you break, and then that'll give you a random item. So it feels similar to like Borderlands, that sort of thing, where it's like white, blue, green, gold. I think eventually is like the highest.
Yeah, Diablo rarities.
Yeah, and then the random one it gives you should match like generally where your level is. It might be a level or two above you, so you might have to wait to be able to use it. If an item's like beyond your level, then it doesn't do any damage if you try and use it. And likewise, you can forge your own items instead if you want to as well. I've only tried that once with like a hatchet, but I found the stats to be like super low and kind of like ho-hum. So I kind of like left that alone for the time being. But like once you find a weapon that kind of suits your needs, then yeah, you can have a lot of fun with it. The combat's pretty interesting where there's basically like 3 types of damage you can do. It's like slashing, poking, and bludgeoning essentially are the 3 different types. And depending upon the enemy, they might have a weakness to a certain one of those. So there is like a little bit of depth there, and there's a lot of variety of the weapons that you can get. So there's like a scimitar, a katana, like daggers / swords. There's mallets. There's maces. Trying to think what other ones. Axes, hammers. Yeah.
Do those function appreciably differently? Like, are you using them on particular? Like, I imagine like a rapier not being especially useful against a skeleton, right?
Yeah. So, and there's like spears, for example. So, like, I think appreciably what the difference is, for example, if you get a giant hammer that is all bludgeon all the time, there's no real slicing with that. Versus, like, if you have a katana that's like only slicing. However, so it's like, oh, cool, there's like all these different things. You could have this deep combat system. However, all that goes out of the window once you get this giant, like 6-foot mallet is what I've found. Because then the game turns into Bart Simpson fighting Lisa from The Simpsons, where it's, I'm going to move my arms in a windmill, and if it hits you, that's your fault, not mine. That's specifically for you, Kole.
Thank you.
But yeah, essentially, you can do like 2-handed weapons on the melee too, which makes for like an interesting ways of control. So like with a hammer, you can either one-handed and kind of flail it about, but it doesn't really get a lot of force to it. Whereas if you do two-handed, you can kind of move your hands past one another to basically create like a fan of death of the hammer. They try and mitigate this by like the damage output that you have is somewhat like time gated. So it's like if you hit something two times in a row, the second hit's probably not going to do too much damage. But like maybe every 1 second you'll do, X amount of damage. So it kind of encourages you to kind of take a hit, back up, wait, and take another hit later. I kind of ignore that. If you just make this like fan of damage, you can kind of block everything and eventually kill whatever. And like get random parries in there. So it's kind of a bummer that you could just break the game with this like one weapon and this one idea. And like I even tried later when I was like a higher level to pick these like 2 legendary items I had of like a sword and shield and fight one of the bosses, but then immediately died. And so went back to the hammer and then killed the boss on the first try. So it's like, okay, hammer is the way to go for me. The setting's pretty cool and the world's pretty cool though. So I mentioned that you start off in this like spooky, dark, castled area with like a full moon out and stuff, and you're like kind of killing these like cursed villagers and skeletons and stuff. So like, ooh, spooky and stuff. It eventually peters out, and you can kind of find different areas from there that are kind of like interesting and unique. How populated the areas are, and it's kind of like you kind of have to let your imagination kind of fill in the gaps as far as like making it cooler than what it is. Cause I don't know. So like you can go to like a collapsed like cathedral or something like that. And it's like, ooh, that's fun. Yeah. And then also like another thing that's kind of like, not so great about the game is it doesn't do a good job telegraphing what like the level of a place is versus what you can handle. So like in the first area, for example, you can kind of kill everything. And then if you go to one area next to you, you die immediately. So it's like, all right, don't go there. And then there's a boss, and then that kills you immediately. So it's like, okay, maybe not go there. And then there's a place where it's like, you can go here, but it's good if you're level 10. And I'm like level 3. And it's like, well, that sounds bad. But apparently that is the way you can go. And you can like handle people like that. So there's like kind of like some, like misses on a game design here. Or like it's not kind of clear what they're you're not really going where they might intend you to go or playing it how they intend you to, or they're not telegraphing it well. But that said, I don't know, like I feel like you have to give all these like concessions if you're playing a VR game where it's like, it's good for VR, but this would not work at all in like a console game at all. Yeah. Like they would need to improve a lot of this on there. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting experience. I haven't played a really good like RPG game yet in VR. Mm-hmm. So this is like a first attempt at it. And so that's kind of like why I'm interested in it. You can do multiplayer with this. So that is like another thing where maybe that would add a lot of value to it, is playing with other people. Yeah. But yeah, so for now it's just okay, and I'm kind of playing this instead of Beat Saber, and it's still somewhat active doing it. One kind of cool thing about it too is to regain your health and like mana, you have to stand by a campfire, and it refills slowly, intentionally, because they want you to literally rest. And like you can get around it in like fast travel or something like that if you want to get your health back. But thematically, what it's trying to do, especially in like a multiplayer game, is get everyone to rest around a fire and talk about what they want to do next and that sort of thing. So it's like points for the theming and like kind of what they're going for with it. Like, you can see the effort that they kind of put into, or like they want you to kind of live like whatever sort of fantasy you want to have, as far as like, I want to be an ice mage. Like they'll let you do that. Yeah. There is like an upgrade tree as well. So like you level up passively, kind of like in Skyrim, where whatever you're doing, that you'll level up that ability. Mm-hmm. It's just more limited, where it's just like 3 meters based on your strength, dex, and int. So it's like if you hit a bunch of things with a sword, your strength will upgrade. If you shoot a bunch of things with an arrow, your dex will upgrade, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But every time you gain a level, there's a skill tree that you can upgrade or allocate points to, and it'll unlock new moves, or it'll like unlock like new buffs, like more damage output of some kind. Yeah. And so that's kind of like what the grind of the game is like going through, being a bunch of skeletons, then upgrading yourself so that you can more easily beat those skeletons and go to new areas.
How's the dungeon design? Is it just hallways and big rooms that are arenas, or like are they doing anything with like anything cool with space?
Yeah, it's actually not too bad. So I've gone through one dungeon. I think it's called something like Blight Town, but essentially what it is, I know. All right. But essentially what it is it's like a cave with like crystals, kind of like also like Dark Souls. Uh-huh. But the difference is it's like skeleton stuff, and it's more like kind of like a cave, like miney type thing. But then the end boss at the end of it is a skeleton for some reason. Mm-hmm. But they do differentiate the area where it's like there's places where you can go like one of two directions. There's places where they have like ropes that you can climb up and down, or they'll have it like where it's like ropes that go across. So you kind of have to like it's like monkey climb, like on a jungle gym or whatever, like do that across on a rope. Mm-hmm. And that part is kind of fun because like you now it's like this weird emergent puzzle game of how do I get my last hand on this and then take out a sword so I can hop on this thing and immediately attack these people and they don't like rush up on me. So stuff like that's fun. There are like secrets as well. Like you can find a secret passage and like kind of like timing puzzles and stuff. So that is like kind of points in its favor. And there are like kind of cool vistas as you're like walking about. But you know, there's kind of limits to that too, where it's like, say if you have to backtrace and like retread to where you were, because like say you died or something like that, it can be a very sparse and lonely walk if you're going through an area that you've just cleared out and they haven't like repopulated it with enemies. And there's no sense of like fast travel, like jumping, like teleporting to places. Like you have to kind of slowly walk. There is teleporters to like checkpoints, so they try and get around it like that.
That's good.
But yeah, but just the moment-to-moment walking is kind of the slow sort of trudge, but while you're waving your hammer around in front of you so that nothing kills you. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know. It's good enough that I'm like still interested in playing it, and I'll still keep playing it. As far as like recommending it to other people, it's kind of a toss-up. Like if this kind of scratches a major itch for you, it could be fun, but it's huge asterisks on that. Like it's definitely got to be your jam for this to be like a good value for you to go to. Yeah.
It's just making me want a VR Kingsfield.
Ooh.
Honestly, is what I want out of this, because like the Diablo style loot system is not especially great to my mind. You know, that is not an attractive thing to me in a game. But like, I don't know, going around in Dark Souls like environments in VR, swinging swords around, that sounds cool and fun to me.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. And I think it's definitely going for that. And some places will minorly succeed in it, but some places it's just not quite there. But yeah, it is an interesting game, and it's definitely a more unique VR experience that I've had. And so I hope there's more games like this in the future, or it gets refined and improved upon in the future, where there's more like depth to the game design. So yeah.
Sweet. I was going to recommend one, but it does not. It's not on PSVR 2, and apparently it is a dead and abandoned game. So not worth bringing it up.
Well, I'm still curious. What is it?
It was called In Death. I've talked about it before. It is an archery game, but it is roguelike kind of thing.
Okay.
You're in medieval castles and stuff like that. But it was just a really, really fun and good archery game. And apparently it just is not anything anymore. So
I do want to go and try like the different paths in this game of like see how archery like handles and see how like the spell casting handles or whatever. But they do not do a good job at all like telling you how that works. Like I don't even know how to take out my bow. So that's a problem if that part's not communicated. So anyway. Yeah.
Legendary Tales. They should probably pick a different title, because that is Teflon.
Yep.
Not the most Teflon title that we've talked about so far, though.
Roguelite Deck Builder. There we go. I was like, surely it couldn't be what I brought. Anything else, Ben?
That's all I got.
All right.
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer, where we ask you a question and you answer it. Dennis, what did you ask the nice people?
Yeah, I've been enjoying more than my fair share of the Olympics, and saw the news that there's going to be an esports Olympics next year, but it's just going to use digital replicas of normal Olympic sports, which I think is a disservice.
Yeah.
But it's not enough for me to just be like, no, put real ass video games in there. I want to hear about the True Gamer Olympics. What events would be included in the True Gamer Olympics?
And just for anybody who's listening, True Gamer is written with weird capitalization all over the place. That is tongue in cheek.
True Gamer.
True Gamer. with the real cred. Ollie writes, just a quick shout out to the London 2012 game that my friend group still gets together and plays once a year. Fun, accessible to all, but hard to master. Exactly what a game like that should be. There will likely be the standard FIFA, Rocket League, etc. there at the Olympics, and that's kind of boring. I'd love to see something like Stardew or Minecraft Marathon. The players are dropped in an identical seed and told to accomplish 5 things in the fastest time, but no advance indication of what they will be, so they can't plan out routes / have recipes, etc. written out.
Oh, I like that a lot.
I like that.
Yeah. The there will likely be standard FIFA, Rocket League. It is way more dumb than that. It is very specifically like handouts, the IOC doing handouts to simulator companies that sell very expensive hardware to mimic to mimic it. So it is not existing games. It is literally just, can we get people to buy these simulators? Yeah, it's no
unfortunate.
Good. Yeah. Ben, what does Frederick say?
Frederick says, I don't know, Olympic level Wii Sports sounds like it could be fun. In fact, let's get some more movement with some Olympic Dance Revolution. Maybe even stick with the Wii family for some Wii Fit. Not the exercises, but a series of various little minigame diversions that the game also includes.
I mean,
so I hate to burst your bubble, but Olympic level Dance Revolution is going to involve very little movement. They will all be posted on the bar and just tapping their feet, but not moving anything else.
It's not going to be very fun to watch, you know. But it would be competitive. Those people, they take it seriously. You can, and all of them would be like 17 because if you're 18, you aged out of it, and your fucking joints just come apart like pins come out.
Can confirm there's a DDR machine at the local arcade, and I was like, maybe I'll relive the glory days exactly once before realizing what a bad idea that was.
Yeah. Dennis, what does Callum say?
Callum says the Ubisoft Open World Collectathon across different games get lots of map markers.
Different in quotes.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very important distinction there.
Accomplish as much as you can. Yeah.
Yes. Make the percentage meter as high as possible.
Michael writes, double save time trials. Who can save their game twice just to be sure the fastest? Steam Hunt. Who can find that one game you bought in that Humble Bundle 5 years ago in case you wanted to play it the fastest? It's pretty
Get your
similar.
cameras out of my house. Pretty
similar to the answer that I had, which I'll give later. Good answers though. Double save time trials. Ben, what does Case say?
Case says, honestly, if I was going to pick an Olympic esport, I'd pick a selection of popular games for speedrunning, possibly a speedrunning triathlon of Super Metroid, Save the Animals naturally, an NES Mega Man game, probably 3 or 4, and one of the Crash games.
Is Crash Bandicoot big for speedrunning?
I'm assuming it's like a game based off of the Best Picture winner Crash.
Of course.
Oh, God. Dennis, what does Lindsay say?
Lindsay says, make them play an assortment of games for the Xbox Kinect. That sounds like a fun disaster.
Make them play the Blackwater game for the Kinect.
No.
Literally, mercenary firm Blackwater, noted for war crimes. There was a licensed game based on that thing on the Kinect.
Jeez.
We're jumping ahead of our sad stories for the week, I guess.
Yep. People thought that was okay. Let's see. Gwen writes, Mario 64, minimum jumps. I'm not ready for the half A button press. A button half press. I'm not ready for that discourse to go global.
No.
Which says a lot. Like, that is a 10-year-old reference to Super Mario 64 speedrun stuff. So who knows? Maybe the half A press meta has been figured out. Now they're on to...
Now, how long are the no jump runs?
Oh, I have no idea. I watch explainer videos about how people do them. I do not watch the runs themselves.
I mean, that just tells you if you're doing it, you are not tracking for time.
I'm just
Because you have to pick something that can fit in the 2 weeks of the Olympics is the key thing.
Yeah. Oh gosh, competitive Mario 64, but everybody plays on top of a mountain, trying to get that one glitch that happened on that one speed run. That was the result of a cosmic ray flipping a bit when it shouldn't have, which I think has been confirmed as an urban legend. Like that didn't actually happen, but I'm not sure. Like it moves too fast.
Yeah.
And finally, Ben, what does Rookie say?
Herky says, freestyle trash talking. First one to get mad loses. And for the purists out there, Greco-Roman trash talking. 3 points for causing a rage quit, 2 points for an upset quit, and 1 for an ill-tempered quit. Ties are broken by playing League of Legends. The winner is whoever goes the longest without trash talking their own team.
Impossible.
Well, the time is very bounded by that then.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
It's a good tiebreaker.
It's funny because like all of those rage quit, upset quit, ill-tempered quit, all of those seem like synonyms to me. So I need the firm like IOC definitions for what the delineations of those are.
Yeah, I think so. Rage quit is if the program is forcefully exited, like Alt F4, or hitting the power button, ripping the cord out of the wall, or if there is physical damage to hardware at any point during the quit. And upset quit is if there are verbal utterances. An ill-tempered quit is if there's just like the exhale from the nose and exasperation.
Okay, just accompanied by like a sigh. Or maybe an elliptical remark. Yeah. Mine is going to be competitive mod installing.
Yes.
It's literally you sit down, they give you a base game, they give you a mod, the name of the mod, and you have to figure out how to get it installed and running. And whoever can do it the fastest can get to, booting it, wins.
Now, how long do you have to play before confirming that it is not, in fact, going to crash or run?
Different per game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't know. Just thinking useful skills that always end up being a problem for me.
That's their equivalent of sticking the landing. Like,
yes.
Well, it ran for a minute, but then it crashed. Oh, well.
Ben, how about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of piggybacking on Ollie's answer, except for mine, it's the Beijing 2008 Olympics Games. This kind of has a soft spot in my heart because we downloaded the demo for it on the original PS3 and played that a whole bunch in the house that I was living at in college.
I remember you had a physical copy of that, too.
Oh, maybe I bought a physical copy
of
it.
I thought
I just had a demo. Oh, man.
Was it a demo disc?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe we played the demo for a while and liked it so much we bought a physical copy of it.
How about you, Dennis?
Yeah, I'm going to maybe riff off of Rookie a little bit and say Olympic level gatekeeping.
Ooh.
So competitors are given a game and a person, and they must present the strongest argument for why that person does not belong playing that game.
I mean, this obviously maxes out at you gatekeep yourself out of it. Like you justify it is not like right for you to
I
play
can't
the
accept
game.
gold. Get the platinum medal.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you, everybody, for responding. If you would like to participate in these, go to the Duckfeed community group on Facebook. Watch the prompts to go up on Monday afternoons. And thank you, Dennis, for posting.
The End Boss.
Now it is time for the End Boss, where we're talking about things that are happening in the world of video games and how we feel about them. I'm going to start us with good news. There's nothing that is outright depressing in this one, so we can have fun here. So it's very funny how last week when Ben started playing Hi-Fi Rush, we were kind of bemoaning, this beautiful game that is fun and inventive and lively. It's a shame that studio is shut down. Microsoft shut it down and all of these big layoffs that they did. Apparently it's back from the dead, though. The publisher of PUBG, a company called Krafton, acquired the studio and the rights to Hi-Fi Rush in order to let them continue to develop it. So that rules. And yeah, we're unsure. Like, there's no, particular announcement, but like that team, or at least enough of it to still be called the same team, is coming back. It is unclear right now what this means for The Evil Within, the other big property that Tango Gameworks had made before Hi-Fi Rush. But it'd be cool if they could get a hold of those rights too, and if they could, I don't know, move back and forth between them. I want to see where they're going with Evil Within, as dumb as that story is. This is just great. I'm really happy that this was allowed to happen.
And honestly, even if they can't get the rights for Evil Within, they've shown that they're like creative enough that they could probably make another new IP and be fine with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just happy about this.
I'm glad that Microsoft is consistent with the fact that they undervalued this company and were, I guess, probably sold for a low enough price that someone else could buy it. So
yeah. So,
but it's too bad that they have that opinion in the first place.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But second chances are rare, and this rules. I have nothing more to say about it. It's just neat.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are the odds that Microsoft buys them back at a hugely inflated price when Hi-Fi Rush 2 is like the mega hit of the century?
It just keeps going.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Dennis, what's happening in the world of just exhausting crossovers?
Oh my God. Yes, I alluded to this earlier. Guys, they got Fall Guys in my Fortnite. And I don't understand who thought this made sense or was a good idea, except that Fortnite has just become a giant vacuum of a game that is sucking up everything around it. But basically Epic bought the creators of Fortnite a couple of years ago, right?
Okay, yeah.
I'm looking for the exact time, but yeah, this is...
They bought the creators of Fortnite or Fall Guys?
The Fall Guys.
They both start with F. It's the same game.
Yeah.
So Epic bought Tonic Games Group, which is the parent company of the Fall Guys developer, Mediatonic. Okay, there it is. But they snapped them up in 2021. And the stated goal was like, hey, we want to build our metaverse. This is something that we could do stuff with. But what they've done with it is almost entirely underwhelming and robs Fall Guys of the magic that it did have as a standalone kind of battle royale counterpoint to your typical shooters. They've now published Fall Guys in Fortnite. You can access Fall Guys specific modes. Just like you can play Lego games in Fortnite now, or karting games, or music games. Why the hell not? The one kind of impressive feat is that all of the character skins that you have in Fortnite now have a Fall Guys version. So it's kind of funny to see like the Spec Ops dude that I use just because it's, a skin from like the first season or something has a Fall Guys version. And same thing for all my kids' skins. That is an impressive feat.
There's like a Fall Guys Alan Wake. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I don't know that they have it for everyone. But yeah, you can now see what all these things would look like in Fall Guys. That's impressive, just like when they did it for Lego. But the inspiration seems to stop there. There are 3 standalone modes that are Fall Guys centric. They're mini games that just don't have a ton of inspiration to them. And then because the lobbies haven't gotten much traction to it, you don't even get the manic, like, I am running alongside 50 other people right now to accomplish this obstacle course.
That's like
you're just kind of playing. Yeah, you're just kind of playing another obby game. And occasionally you see other people, and that's, I don't know, it's just a little depressing. What I saw of the obstacle course is like it was nothing as crazy and fun as was in Fall Guys. It just felt a little more generic. And I think that's because the obstacle courses in Fall Guys were designed around knowing there were going to be a huge group of people running through at once.
Yeah.
It feels like they probably had an inkling that this wasn't going to be as big. And I haven't checked in on Fall Guys. I don't know if it's a dead game now, like the original. But it definitely feels like the courses for this iteration are designed as, with the fact in mind that there aren't going to be as many people. So it's more teetering slowly over thin surfaces and less mad dashes, and that's sad. It probably says a lot that the most popular version of this is actually a fan-made version, and seemingly the reason that it's so popular is they have cranked up the amount of experience points that this gives. Oh, God. And so literally Fall Guys has been reduced to a way to grind experience for the Fortnite Battle Pass.
God, that is so bleak.
Internet theory is real.
That sounds like the play, honestly, is like, okay, we will buy the studio and we'll shelve those people somewhere if they even brought them on board. And then just here's Fall Guy branding. Let's let this out for people to just make their own shit with it. And we don't need to design a game for this at all, actually. We'll just let the users do it. Yeah,
it's the Robloxification of games. Ugh. Like, this is a toolkit that people will make interesting stuff with. ... profit.
It's funny because earlier in the episode when you talked about, launching the Epic Game Store through Steam so you should be able to use your controller, I bemoaned that because it was really, I don't know, that's just a very upsetting is the wrong word, uncomfortable idea to me. It's excessive is weird, but
needlessly convoluted.
Yeah, launching a launcher, that's what happens when you launch Fortnite in Epic Games anyway.
No, it really is now.
Yeah, I hate it. It's just a way for stuff to fall into the cracks and be ignored, and for this huge company to just buy up promising teams and then shelf them. I really don't like it.
And let's be clear, like Little Big Planet was something special, like a platform, a game that is a platform for creating games. Like there is merit to that idea.
Yeah.
But that was focused, at least in the first couple iterations, where, hey, this is platforming focused. Well, that had an incredibly strong built-in set of levels.
Yeah. And also it wasn't monetized. You paid $60 for
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is the twisted version of that, and I do not care for it. The one other interesting thing is that apparently there is a Fall Guys course in like the Battle Royale island, where if you land on it, you're turned into a Fall Guy, and then you can like run through the course. Which I found out because my kid that I was playing with tagged like that portion of that. He's like, drop over here. And I'm like, okay, I'm going. And I land and I grab a weapon and I get into a fight and I just die. And I'm like, I felt kind of alone. And I look over and my kid is, they didn't mean go over here and play the main game. They meant go over here and play Fall Guys. And did not make that clear to me. So it's like, well, I'm dead. I guess I'll watch you play Fall Guys. No idea how, what was at the end of that. Cause he didn't make it too far, but yeah. Man, it would be cool if things could just be their own little self-contained quirky selves instead of folded into a metaverse. I would like that, please.
Yeah.
If you disconnect from it, it's just kind of interesting to see like unending, increasing complexity.
Sure. Yeah. It's, does it ever get to a point that it collapses under its own weight? I mean, I guess it's just whatever point people decide Fortnite is irrelevant and they're moved on to the next thing.
Yeah. Ugh. Just makes me queasy. I don't know.
Well.
Ben, round us out.
Surely you must have better news.
Mine is short and sweet, where I just want to dunk on Borderlands the movie for a little bit. It has a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 29 on Metacritic.
It lost a bunch of money. 0 for a long time.
Yeah.
By a long time, I mean for several days after it came out.
Yeah, and I think it lost a bunch of money because it only made like $8 million over opening weekend.
Yeah.
And I think the most notable thing is it makes Cate Blanchett not look like a good actor. I don't know how you can do that.
How do you fuck up that bad?
It is very funny given how the movie Tar ends, to see Cate Blanchett like the next big name thing to have her being in this.
Yeah, I think I had a friend who described boat movies where it's like, I'm doing this movie so I can buy that boat that I want. So this might be a boat movie for Blanchett, but whatever, she deserves it. She can have like 6 bad movies after making Tar.
You can slum it. Yeah, it's fine.
And then
could it also be that like the deals were inked? Because this was in production hell forever. So maybe the deal was inked like way before she realized, hey, maybe I don't have to do that.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up, they probably shot this before they shot Tar, because they shot this, I think, in 2019, maybe. It was like that long ago.
Yeah, so. It's been sitting on the shelf forever, basically, which is what lowered expectations, but not enough.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I do want to say, though, Jamie Lee Curtis as Tannis is the one casting that I agree with in this movie, and apparently she's the only bright spot. So, called that.
Honestly, the casting doesn't seem half bad.
Really?
I think even Kate, it's Cate Blanchett, dude. She could be anybody. I think you could make a good movie with the existing cast, but it just does not seem there, at least with the tone that they're going for. It's like, I think the director is on record saying like, oh, I never played the games. I was like, I'm trying to make a popcorn movie, so I'm casting for the movie, not for the characters in the game. So it's like that sort of stuff's I think where the disconnect is. But it's interesting juxtaposing this with like the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, where it's like between getting the source material and like innovating on it versus just missing the point.
Yeah.
So.
We're going to have to watch this for adaptation decay, and I don't want to. I really don't.
Just try to push it till it's in a form that you don't have to pay to get it.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I wouldn't want to. This'll end up on a streamer at some point. Like, it's going to sink like a stone, which is fine. The problem is I don't care for Borderlands to begin with. So a quipified Hollywood version of it that's not even good Hollywood, like elevating production material, like every bit of CGI, like little sequences that I've seen of this just kind of look like shit too. Yeah, I don't know. It just looks like a real stinker.
So if you had to name Cate Blanchett's boat, what would you choose? Borderlands themed boat name.
I don't know enough about Borderlands.
Damn.
I was thinking of her other movies. I don't know. I would need more time to
I've got next week's multiplayer. Hyper specific multiplayer.
The link that Ben posted here, the review clips or whatever. The Hollywood Reporter saying at one point Claptrap returns to operational mode after a heavy weaponry assault and says, "I blacked out. Did something important happen? Not in this movie." Oh God. Who is this for? Nobody. Oh well. How do you all feel about buttoning it up?
Let's button this.
Let's. The credit. Thank you so much for listening to level number 512. We appreciate you taking the time. I was going to, we'll see you again at 10:24. Yeah, there we are.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, special occasion. We'll talk about Borderlands on every one of the base 2. Anyway,
nice round number.
Yeah, nice round number. But yes, thank you so much. If you want to support the show, you know what to do. Leave ratings or reviews. Tell your friends. Support us on Patreon. Subscribe. Join the Duckfeed community Facebook group. It's all there. You've listened to podcasts before. Dennis, anything to promote?
Yeah, well, so first off, thank you to everyone who came out and backed the Kickstarter that was running. At this point, I think the news should have gotten around, and I've given all the updates to all the people. I wound up deciding to pull the campaign, and I'm going to reboot it. pretty clear reasons for why it wasn't getting traction, and it was on the side of the campaign was designed wrong rather than people weren't interested. So I'm gonna fix those things. I can't fix it with a live campaign. I've got to pull it down and republish it. And then Deck of Wonders: The Master of Dungeons will be back on Kickstarter, hopefully within a month or two.
Okay.
So by the time you are listening to this, there should be a new coming soon page up, maybe even a date to look forward to. And yeah, if you back the first campaign, we'll have some special goodies for you in the second. And I really hope you'll follow us along. Thank you for your support if you backed, like I said at the top. And yeah, we'll give this another stab in a month here.
Yeah. Check out that coming soon page and sign up to get notified. Yeah. All right. I've been Kole Ross. You can find me on Blue Sky at Kole Ross.
I've been Dennis Furia. You can find me on TikTok at Deck of Wonders 3.
Ooh. And I've been Ben Merkel.
And stick around for some titles. Okay. I have one. It's all bludgeon all the time.
That's pretty good.
All right. Dennis, how about you?
Got two. I have Notion for Nuptials.
Okay.
So from right off the top. And then I also have Guy Fieri's Goblin America.
Okay. Ben, what you got?
I also have Notion for Nuptials, and then I just have Soft Rock.
By laughs, it sounds like Soft Rock to me. Yeah.
I would take it.
Yeah, let's do Soft Rock. Notion for Nuptials relies on the audience having knowledge of project management software.
I mean, which is a
Totally
higher
accessible.
incidence in this audience than others, I'm sure, but still can't be that high.
Yeah, I like Soft Rock for the payoff.
Yeah.
All right, it is decided.